Some movies don't just flop, they haunt the people who made them. Years after the cameras stop rolling, a few actors step forward with something unexpected: regret. Not for scandals, not for rumors, but for the roles themselves. These are the actors who publicly said sorry for their own movies. Emma Stone once apologized, loudly, in front of the entire Hollywood audience at the Golden Globes. When she starred in Aloha, her character was written as part native Hawaiian and part Chinese, but the casting sparked backlash because she doesn't share that heritage. Hollywood already has a long history of whitewashing, and this role became part of that conversation. Crowe, who directed the film, apologized for the decision, and Stone did too. Later, during a Golden Globes joke about whitewashed movies, she shouted, "I'm sorry," from the audience, a very public reminder of a role she wishes she'd passed on. George Clooney has spent years apologizing for one role, and it's the one where he wore the bat suit. Batman and Robin became known for over-the-top puns, campy style, and a design that fans still joke about today. Clooney ended up taking most of the blame, and he never shied away from it. At a Tomorrowland panel, he joked that playing Batman practically got him disinvited from Comic-Con, and he even apologized to Adam West backstage. On another show, he said he always apologizes for the movie and once believed he had killed the entire franchise.
I always apologize for Batman. I thought at the time this was going to be a very good career move. It wasn't.
Shia LaBeouf once said he dropped the ball in one of Hollywood's biggest franchises, and he meant it literally. In Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, he played Mutt Williams, a character fans still argue about. While promoting another film, he openly admitted that some of Crystal Skull's most criticized scenes, like the monkey swinging sequence, didn't work because he couldn't make them believable. He said it was the actor's job to bring those moments to life, and he simply couldn't do it. LaBeouf even talked it over with Harrison Ford, and both felt disappointed. Despite his admiration for Spielberg, he said the director shared part of the blame. Mahershala Ali didn't just apologize publicly, he picked up the phone and called the family of the man he played. His performance as Don Shirley in Green Book won major awards, but Shirley's own relatives were deeply upset by how the film portrayed him. They said the movie showed him as isolated from the Black community and disconnected from his family, which they insisted was untrue. After hearing their concerns, Ali personally called Shirley's brother Maurice and nephew Edwin. He explained that he hadn't known close relatives were available to consult and apologized directly in what the family described as a respectful conversation.
I'm blacker than you are. Excuse me? You don't know about your own people.
Paul Newman once apologized for a movie so loudly that he bought newspaper ads to warn the public not to watch it. His first film, The Silver Chalice, was slammed by critics and became a project he openly despised, calling it the worst film of the 1950s. Years later, when a local TV station announced a broadcast of the movie, Newman panicked. He purchased about $1,200 worth of ads in major papers, framed like funeral notices, reading, "Paul Newman apologizes every night this week, Channel 9. The plan backfired spectacularly. The apology made viewers more curious, and the broadcast earned strong ratings. Hank Azaria made a major decision after realizing one of his most famous roles had caused real harm. For 3 decades, he voiced Apu on The Simpsons, a character that faced growing criticism for reinforcing stereotypes.
I hate Apu.
Hate Apu.
And because of that, I dislike The Simpsons.
The whole series.
Yeah.
The conversation reached a breaking point after a documentary highlighted how the portrayal affected South Asian communities. Azaria publicly expressed regret, saying it genuinely upset him to know the character had been used to marginalize people. He said he was willing to step aside or help reshape the role, and in 2020, he officially stopped voicing Apu altogether. William Shatner has a unique kind of apology for Star Trek V, one that explains what went wrong rather than fully owning the blame. The film is often called the weakest entry in the franchise, and since he both starred in it and directed it, the criticism landed squarely on his shoulders. Years later, he admitted that the production ran out of money before he could shoot the ending he originally envisioned. Instead of massive granite creatures and dramatic effects, he was left reusing earlier footage and tossing pebbles at the camera to fake the finale. His apology comes with a caveat: the studio's budget decisions helped sink the film. Carol Burnett once apologized to an entire airplane full of strangers, all because they had just watched what she considers her worst performance. After starring in Billy Wilder's The Front Page, she already knew her role hadn't turned out well. Years later, she and her husband were on a flight when fans happily recognized her. Right before the flight attendant announced the in-flight movie, The Front Page, Burnett sank into her seat as the film played. When the credits ended and the cabin fell silent, she walked to the front, took the speaker, and apologized to every passenger for her performance. The plane broke into laughter and applause.
I would like to apologize to each and every one of you for my performance in that film. And they went, yeah!
Tim Roth once said a film role would have his father turning in his grave, and he was talking about United Passions, the FIFA-funded movie he openly regretted doing. In the film, he plays Sepp Blatter, who is portrayed as an ethical, inspiring leader. But the real world unraveled around the movie's release. Major FIFA officials were arrested on corruption charges, and Blatter resigned just days before the premiere. Roth later admitted he never questioned the script, never questioned the director, and hadn't even watched the finished film. The timing, the message, and the controversy left him with deep regret. Jason Alexander once apologized for a role so infamous that even a star-studded cast couldn't save it. In The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, he played the classic villain Boris Badenov, a gig he later admitted he took purely for the paycheck. The movie had a massive budget, big-name cameos, and all the ingredients of a blockbuster, yet it became a major box office failure, earning far less than expected. Alexander later said he felt the sting of that flop more than most, and openly apologized for being part of it, calling out his own choice to join the project. Greta Gerwig, Rebecca Hall, and Mira Sorvino all did something rare in Hollywood. They publicly apologized for working with Woody Allen. After Dylan Farrow repeated allegations of sexual abuse, actresses who had appeared in Allen's films began reassessing their choices. Gerwig said she wouldn't have taken her role had she known what she knows now. Hall apologized after finishing A Rainy Day in New York and donated her salary to the Time's Up Legal Defense Fund. Sorvino, who won an Oscar for her role in Mighty Aphrodite, wrote an open letter to Farrow expressing regret and promising never to work with Allen again.